Shanti Shanti.
So, truly speaking, the mirror is only reflecting the real light, but it doesn't know that the one light, suppose you have thousands of mirrors placed in the same sunlight. Each is reflecting in its own manner, and they are thinking it's all my light, we are revealing it is coming from me. Everybody is thinking it is my light, but they are all deluded because the real light is coming from there. Now, what happens in Samadhi is if you turn the mirror slowly towards the sun. What are you trying to do in Samadhi? You are trying to know where from the I is coming. I means the revealer, the consciousness. So you are trying to focus your attention, which is of the body, your mind, intelligence, attention, to the point from where the I-ness is coming, where from the consciousness is coming. As you turn towards that, when you fully turn it, what happens when you turn the mirror towards the sun? Do you see the world anymore? The mirror cannot reveal. The reflected beam has got merged with the original beam. So the reflected beam has become the original beam. So the world no longer remains visible to it at that point. It only is dissolved. He understands that the real light, the revealer, is coming from the one source, or it is the source, the single source from where the light is coming. Similarly, we also understand that it is not from the body, but the whole universe which contains our body, mind, personality is appearing in that one, if we say, but the one is also a concept in that consciousness. It is transcending even one. When we say one, there is a concept of two. It is transcending both. If you go further and further and further details, it will become more and more abstract and subtle, and we have shlokas for everything. You will be amazed to see the Shastras that what level they have gone. They have not left anything to be discovered by, again analyzed by us or written. Only thing is that we initially do not get the meaning. When we read, we don't understand it. But when we know, then it becomes very clear, they have already written it. Before that, it will not strike us. But when we know and read, then we find that I have nothing to write, it is already there. And height of abstractions, everything is there in the Shastras. Now here he says that Tatha Aksharad. Why Akshara? Because which is unchanging. I said the other day that any Srishti we see in the material world is Parinama Srishti. It's a material creation where the cause gets changed when it produces the effect. As yesterday Swamiji was discussing that the sun is radiating. It is radiating the light. In the process, the hydrogen is getting changed into helium. It is not the original sun. Every moment the sun is changing. The quantity of helium is increasing and quantity of hydrogen is decreasing. So anything in the world, whatever in the material world, whatever is produced, the cause undergoes a change. Whereas he is saying, Aksharat vividha bhavaha prajayante. Akshara means which is unchanging. So the ultimate truth is unchanging. From that, all this changeful universe, the entire changeful universe is coming out. Prajayante and tatra chaivapi yanti, and also gets merged in that. In creation as well as destruction or dissolution, there is no change in the original substance. That is what they mean by aksharat vividha bhavaha. So as such, it is not possible in the material universe. The cause will never remain the same. Here the cause remains the same. In other words, it is not a causal srishti. In cause and effect chain, always the cause will undergo. So although we are calling it the ultimate cause, it is really not the cause. That is why they have given the examples of sahaja bhava. Sahaja bhava is it is just appearing to be. That is why they give the example of the dream. In dream, what is happening? Actually, we are always dreaming, but we don't know. Suppose when we are awake, you are listening to the lecture, but suddenly your mind is thinking of the office, that I did not finish that file or that work or so. So because the external signal is different, it is showing you are in the CIRD. So you don't get confused about it. In your mind you say that I am thinking of the office. But suppose slowly that thought occupies you so much that you don't feel the external world at all, then that will completely become real to you. That is what happens when we fall asleep. Suppose you are feeling asleep, dozing off. The moment the external signals go, the internal world becomes full real to you. And there, if you touch anybody, it's a gross touch there. If you take the food, your hunger is satiated. If somebody is beating you, you get pain there. In dream, everything is happening. It is absolutely real. So in the consciousness, whether the signal is coming from outside and finally created in the brain, or it is originated in the brain, the fact is that in the consciousness it appears to be the same. Because the whole jugglery is taking place in the consciousness. Suppose you are sleeping and you find that you have come to a beautiful palace. Now, who has generated in the palace? According to our idea of our brain and all, it is a signal in the brain, maybe generated by your memory or whatever. That signal is given by the brain, that is why you are seeing the palace. But that palace is not in the signal. The palace is actually constituted in your consciousness only. Because the signal will be, you may measure in your some experiment you do, EEG or so, you will find some electrical signals there. It is not the palace. The palace is generated in the consciousness. Now, whether the palace signal was coming from actually a material palace outside, or it is generated from the brain, is there any difference? Because in the first case also, the signal in the eye was sent through the nerve to the brain, and the brain was generating some signal, according to that you are seeing the palace. In dream also it is the same thing. So dream example is taken to understand that the final, whatever gross world also we are perceiving, is actually what we are perceiving is within, in the consciousness. Not clear? So this is the way, I will not go into too much of abstraction, already we have done enough, but this is the way we have to go beyond this multiplicity, and through abstraction we have to generate the unity in us. Unity means the one which is appearing as multiple. That is why they will give one after another examples like this. In the next verse, he says, Divyo hyamurtah purushaha sa vahyabhyantaro hyajaha aprano hyamana shubhro hyaksharat paratah paraha. Here each word has to be understood. He says divyaha. Divyaha coming from dib dhatu. Dib dhatu means brilliance. Now generally the deva we say, it has also come from there. That natural powers which are genuine, the original powers, we call them deva. Even sun is called Deva because it is the brilliance, source of brilliance. Now, is sun the real brilliance, the ultimate brilliance? Unless you have consciousness, you will not know the sun. So the real brilliance is our consciousness. So although they are giving the examples of sun, etc., that they are the source of light, etc., but ultimately we have to take this divya to that ultimate level. That real divya is our consciousness, which is revealer of everything, not anything revealed. Why am I saying? The moment something brilliant is called, you will think brilliant. Even in Narayaniyaman also, he is, or in Bhagavad Gita, what is the chapter? 11th chapter. That Krishna is appearing with this, that and brilliance. The moment we start visualizing as if something brilliant, but that is not the real aim. The real brilliance is within. And that is what I am. That we have to understand. It is not different that I will see the real brilliance within. That is what I am. So that soul is the real brilliance. So Divyaha, when they say, we should be able to link it to that level. We should not think that, oh, Divyaha, that means a brilliant orb is coming like that. It's not that. You can think of it, but to get the ultimate truth, you have to go to that ultimate abstraction also. He amurtaha. Amurtaha means it has no form. It is producing all the forms, but it does not have any form at all. That means you cannot see it in any manner. or even conceived by your mind also. Form, if you take it to subtle level, suppose hatred has a form, love has a form. You cannot see those forms, they are not visible forms. But form means whichever distinguishes one from the other. Hatred is distinctly different from love. So they also have a form. They are also forms. So amurta means whatever form, whatever perceptible things are appearing to be, it is not that. The truth is beyond that. Truth is transcending that. So just amurtaha, it does not have, it is not an idol, it does not have any murti. That is not enough. You have to go to the subtler level, that even in thought as concept also it is not so. Even when we say Satchidananda, it is only an approximation. It says that it is not Asat, it is not Achit, it is not Nirananda, that's all. But if you say that, well, the truth is Satchidananda, it is a concept of Satchidananda, then it becomes objective before you. It becomes formed. So, Amurtaha, Purushaha. Here Purushaha means, generally we mean our consciousness in us, as we said, Purishayate iti Purushaha, which is encapsulated by the body. The other Purusha, the same identity as we know, when we know the real identity, it becomes universal. Then the Purusha becomes Purnam Anena Sarvam iti Purusha. That is by which everything is filled. Not only everything is filled, everything appears in that. When we say everything is filled, it becomes like water or air. That there is something and you are filling in. That is a very approximate primary expression. Truly it is not that. They are appearing in that, in the consciousness. The whole universe is appearing there. Sabhahyabhyantaraha. We generally say that Bahya means external as well as internal. Antaraha means external, internal. So generally we have a feeling that the consciousness is within us. So they are taking point by point each concept of us to correct our conception, our perception, so that we can imagine at least this ultimate truth. That we have a feeling that it is inside, but he is saying no, it is outside as well as inside. So, you cannot say that it is within the body. He ajaha, he is never born, because anything that is born will be limited by the causal chain. Whichever is born will die, it will follow. And death and birth, they are actually cause and effect. Suppose you burn the book, ash is produced. So the book was the cause and the ash is the effect. So that's the causality. Anything that is born will be limited by causality, birth and death. Apranaha. It does not have life, because we have a feeling that we are living, so the ultimate truth, Lord is also having a life as we have. But generally we specify life as some energy, some movement by itself. In this truth, all the movements are taking place in it, but it does not have any movement at all. You cannot conceive a movement. The moment you conceive of any movement means it is a limited thing. Without a limited thing, you cannot, even when you see the whole universe is expanding, you are considering the universe as something limited. Actually in science also it is a great abstraction. The way generally we think, it is not like that. The whole universe is expanding. It is in the space-time frame. We will not be able to easily conceive. Suppose you think that this is the universe sphere and it is expanding. It is not like that. Because when you see like this, that means space is beyond there also. That is why you are seeing like this. Is it not? If you see it as a globe, then you are thinking of space beyond. But space is incorporated in the universe. It's a space-time continuum. So even in science also you cannot conceive easily. Actually conceive the truth, you have to go to great abstraction. The moment we can express it by thought, it becomes an object of us, object before us. It is expressible by thoughts. So that is not possible. It is beyond mind. It does not have mind also. It does not have prana. It does not have mana. Both are not there. Shubhraha. Shubhraha means white. That means it does not have any color. Or it is pure. It does not have any malinata. It does not have any impurity in it. Actually, in that abstraction, impurity means any division is impurity. Any Bheda Buddhi is impurity. The ultimate pure is Brahman or soul or Paramatma, where there is no division, Abheda. So Shubhra means again no distinction, no division, no impurity at all. Hi aksharat parataha paraha. Parataha aksharat paraha. That means this akshara, now you get back to the original statement of Angiras. He says that yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. In the Paravidya, forgot. Said there are Aparavidya and Paravidya. What is the Paravidya? Yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. By which the akshara gets attained. So there the akshara is put as the supreme. Now here they are saying parataha aksharat paraha. Parataha means Panchami Vibhakti they have used. That means it is even transcending the para akshara. See how contradictory language, through contradictory language they take us to the transcendence. We have to understand that. There they said paravidya yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate, by which the akshara is attained. Now he says that the para akshara we have spoken of, that akshara also is within the duality, kshara and akshara. Akshara is a concept. As against kshara. Kshara means changeful, akshara means non-changeful, non-changing. So they are also concepts. So the ultimate, to go to the ultimate truth, you have to go beyond that para akshara also. You have to go to the non-divisible, non-dual truth, which is beyond para akshara as well as kshara. That is what is meant by aksharat parataha paraha. In Sarva Vedanta Sara Siddhanta there is a shloka. He says, Tad vidya vishayam brahma satya jnana sukhatmakam shantam cha tadatitam cha param brahma taduchyate. What is the param brahma? He says param brahma, the supreme, is this. What is it? Tad vidya vishayam brahma satya jnana sukhatmakam. Vidya vishayam. Vidya means whatever we are knowing through the paravidya, whatever Brahman we are knowing through the knowledge. It is, we are learning about it, knowledge. So that is only Satya Jnana Sukhatmakam. That is Satchidananda as we say. That means still within a concept. But Shantam cha Tadatitam cha, which is transcending that, which is the Shanta, the ultimate Shanta, and which is transcending that also. That is called the Parambrahma. Because that is beyond all concepts. That is beyond the concept of Satya, Jnana, Sukha also. Initially we are attracted to it thinking that it is the blissful. And we are all running after bliss. So once we become a knower or Brahman, it will be always, I will be flooded with bliss, bliss, bliss. But actual bliss is not that. The Sukha we think of, the bliss is not that kind of a Sukha. The real, that is why they use the word Ananda there. Sometimes Sukha word is also used as they have used here. So that Ananda is present in suffering as well as in so-called happiness also. So-called happiness as well as suffering. We call it prasada. It is the placidity of the mind, which he attains through that. So here he said that this truth, it is the revealer, the ultimate revealer, but it doesn't have form, it is neither inside nor outside, doesn't have birth and death, it doesn't have prana, life, it doesn't have mana, all these things he said. It does not have, but the next verse is, but it gives rise to all that. That is important. That means it does not have is not the right expression. The expression should be it transcends. When we say does not have, then it cannot produce. So the correct expression will be it is transcending, not that it doesn't. When we say arupam, arupa, as the truth we express as arupa, it is not that he does not have rupa. He transcends rupa because he creates all the rupa. All the forms are coming out of it. That is why he is transcendental, not that he does not have. He has all the rupas. So, in the limited sense, he doesn't have rupa. Etasmad jayate pranaha manas sarvendriyani cha kham vayur jyotirapaha prithvi vishwasya dharini. So it is the cause of everything. Now again, when I say cause, I will remind you, it is not the real cause, not a material cause in that sense. It is the substratum for everything, where the whole game is taking place, where the whole jugglery is taking place. It is the substratum of the whole magic, not that it is the cause, not in the sense of material cause. So remaining unchanged, it gives rise to all that. That is what we the other day explained as Vivarta Srishti. It is called Vivarta Srishti. That means when the original thing is not undergoing any change. He says, Etasmad jayate. From this only is born pranaha, manaha, sarvendriyani. The life forces, the life, pranaha, the pancha prana as we say, prana, apana and all that. And manaha, mind, and all the indriyas, whether indriyas of action or indriyas of senses, all the indriyas are born of it. Not only the indriyas, pranaha, manaha. See, this is another general way of expression in our Shastras. As in the first sloka I said, the first line expresses vastu guna varjita, that it does not have any of the objective properties. The second line was Kartri guna varjita, Kartritva bhoktritva, which is the karta guna. The gunas of parameters of a karta, of a doer. First one was object, then it was the subject. Those gunas also, parameters were also not there. Like that it went. Here also the first line is referring to the individual. That is, we have prana, mana and the sense organs. So all those are originating from this consciousness. And the second line is universal. What is that? The Panchabhuta. Kham, Vayuhu, Jyotihi, Apaha. Kham means Akasha. Vayuhu means air. Jyotihi means fire or light. Apaha means water. And Prithvi means the earth. So all the 5 elements. That means all whatever we have in our personality and also whatever we are seeing as the objective world, they are all born of this. Prithvi Vishwasya Dharini. Prithvi, who is the holder of, which is the support of everything that we find on this earth. Now here also, see, our Shastras, they are subjective Shastras. What is meant by that? Our science, Western science, is objective, material science, let us say, not Western, we also had it. Material science is an objective science where we inquire into the objects we see and find out relationships, laws operating in them. So the fundamental postulate of science is that we are also part of this material universe. But being part of the material universe, we don't have the authority to investigate into the material universe because we are also part of it. So we understand, we keep the subject away. The subject we will not investigate into. As the subject is seeing the objects, we will investigate into the objects and find out their relationships. We will not be able to reply ever the why of it. Why the heat is going from the hot to the cold, or why the earth is going around the sun. It is only how, whatever is taking place in the objective world, we try to relate them, and in our mind we try to understand them, the laws in it. So the fundamental postulate is that we will not inquire into the subject. Whereas our people did, they understood that we are seeing the world. So unless we know ourselves, our investigation will never be all right. After investigating into the world, they found that it is always in a cyclic. That is why we have cyclic time, Everything is cyclic here, because causality, as long as you are in causality, cause and effect chain will be there. Everything is cyclic. That is why in our Shastras time is cyclic. It is not like Western linear time as they used to think. But they understood that if we have to go beyond this causal chain, beyond this cyclic way of everything happening, we have to go into the subject where all these are taking place. So let us first go into our personality and find out where from the perceptions are really coming, where they are operating, who am I? That became their quest. So in that process they discovered that everything is subjective. Even whatever world we are seeing, it is depending on our 5 indriyas.